So now I'm very happy to welcome Tim Niemeier and Fabian Wesner on stage. A big applause for the two founders of RockTech. They are here from Berlin. They come from the Rocket Internet tribe, I would say. And they will show us now how AI revolutionized the software development. And I'm very much looking forward to this talk. I was sitting here in the first row. So the stage is yours.
Cool. Thank you very much. After a long day of talks and many conversations, discussions, meeting new people, thank you for coming. Thank you for having us. Very much looking forward here to today's talk about the AI advantage, software development reimagined. We will have two talks, two parts of this talk today. So I start with an introduction and setting the scene about what can we expect versus what can we not expect. And the second part, you can already see the laptop here, is going to be very hands-on, being done by Fabian, showing you some coding, some tools, and the current status quo. A few words about us. As briefly said, the two of us, we are founders and owners of Rock Technology. We are a tech consultancy boutique. We help back companies and enterprises in huge, large-scale software projects, mostly in the commerce space, actually, B2B, B2C, and marketplaces. From a history perspective, Fabian here with me, he was CTO of Rocket Internet back in the days. He built the Rocket internal shop system, which is live all around the world, from Australia to Brazil and everywhere in between. He also built the shop system of Project A Ventures and eventually co-founded Spryker. Me, myself, I also have a background in commerce. I actually took the shop systems, brought it around the globe. More recently, also was CTO of Rocket Internet. So two former Rocket Internet CTOs by coincidence, more or less. And furthermore, 4 years ago, we started off with Rock Technology, with what we are doing today. Fabian is very hands-on tech. I have a strong passion for IT, but I'm more of the business guy or product guy, however you want to say that. So, about this talk, we talked a lot about, or we saw a lot of AI use cases, AI applications in the design space today, in the product space today. Today it's a lot about engineering. I'd be curious to learn who's here now. Like, are you product owners mostly? Are you designers? Are you engineers? So who would classify to be a product owner, product manager, product strategist? Okay, that's like 90%. Designer, who's from the design space? A few. Any software engineers here? Oh, wow, cool. Okay, that's cool. So developers would be the Steve Ballmer phrase here. Talking about AI in 2024 is awful. It's awful for several reasons. The first one is we only have 30 minutes for a topic where we could discuss hours about. The second one, obviously, things are changing so fast, it's just crazy. I mean, ChatGPT 3.5 is just 2 years old. And all of these discussions we are seeing today, they would be like close to impossible in early 2022, early 2021. And even today, things are changing so rapidly. So, I mean, just the images here. I just changed the images last night because I did the old ones, the previous ones in Flux AI, and then there's a new AI image generator out there. It's again a huge quality step forward again. I love Flux, especially because it has German roots. But just one example where it's moving fast. Also the same for fundamental models, LLMs, the whole ecosystem, what is like coming up there in terms of observability. It's making such increments these days. It's pretty exciting times. It's like gold nuggets after gold nuggets coming. Whenever there's something rising, there's other things declining. So I took a Google Trends screenshot here, more or less, or the statistics. Anyone knows which website this could be, which like was growing over 10 years and then just overnight basically fell down heavily to like back to 2010? Exactly, Stack Overflow that is. It's interesting, and I'm getting that up I mean, basically here you can see that the site visits went down. Whoops. Here's the pointer. Yeah, the site visits went down by like 30%. These numbers is up to July 2023 because the data was shared then in that day. But what you can also see is like the interactions are even having more steeper. So what does it mean? Like developers who are looking for niche problems to solve In the previous days, they were going on Google or ended up directly on Stack Overflow, and were looking for solutions there. So what are they doing these days? They actually go to some LLM, be it like ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is, to ask for the most specific problems in AI. So basically an AI which has all that training data from Stack Overflow incorporated is now being the first rescue, so to say, if you're stuck with a problem. Whew. Okay, so AI is pretty advanced, we can already say. And I think AI, like development work, engineering work, is probably at the forefront of being fundamentally changed. I mean, we had the question just before about, like, do you think product management is fundamentally changing due to AI? One could discuss that. Engineering certainly is, and there's zero doubt about that. And why is it like that? I mean, there's several obvious reasons. The first one, it's not physical work. So if you want to replace a bricklayer, obviously AI cannot yet do that because it's physical work. It totally does not apply for the digital space. The second one, development is close to the core of AI. Literally, those guys building OpenAI, Claude, whatever it is, I mean, they are developers by heart. So that is naturally a huge chunk, like training data is accessible, it's very close to their core, which is also improving or accelerating that transition. Also, you have access to the code base. Basically, putting an entire application into the LLM is possible. I mean, the context windows, as of today, are too small, the token limits are too low, but it's just a matter of time until you can put one whole application into the context window of an LLM. So basically, all the information which you need to solve a problem is readily available. Again, for the bricklayer, not sure if the depth of the concrete on the floor and so on is just not digitally available. It could be made available, but it's more effort and work. For computers are deterministic. There's, during implementation, not so much emotions. There are team dynamics, but by definition, the code base is not emotional. So it's very deterministic. And feedback cycles before release. After a release, it can be expensive, but before a release of software, it's actually pretty cheap to iterate. Iteration costs are not taking into account labor costs. Like cost due to AI, it's close to zero. So, and there's one more thing. If you think about like artificial AI developer, because the AI has one big advantage, it is a domain expert on all different kinds of areas. So I could ask you about ingredients of bread. You would, like, maybe you know. If I ask you about different breads, for sure you would not know. But this is like knowledge which is readily available for AI. You could ask, like, what is the fuel for a rocket? And AI could tell you what are the different fueling options for a rocket, for a spaceship. A human wouldn't be able to know that without proper research. So actually, the AI, as of today, already has more information and knowledge available than any human being would. So does that mean, like, the developers, engineers, they are doomed? Well, not quite. I don't think so. Because if you try to apply some kind of, like, if you try to cluster developers, like what are they doing per work, what do they not do per work, you can actually come up with some kind of normal distribution. And you can say, you have a population density, like a number of developers, and you have a competency or skill level, so to say. And there's people on the left-hand scale who can do HTML programming, like put a text marquee on a white black web page. And there is, like, on the other side of the spectrum, people working with compiler code, maybe enterprise architects. It's pretty broad, right? I mean, there's very specific knowledge which AI cannot solve. Like, you could not imagine a prompt window where you could basically ask all that information and get, like, viable responses. So, and then there's a limit where AI currently is. Fabian will show in a bit where we are as of today. And if you're here on the left-hand side, your job will likely change. Your job as an engineer will change. Because as of today, you can ask one guy, like, hey, please do a white page, put a black, bold letters, hello world on it. ChatGPT is able to do that. So what do you do in the future? Well, you have to change. I mean, there's still someone working with AI who's doing that. There's still someone who needs to make a decision if you want to deploy that in either AWS, Google Cloud, or Wesner, or maybe on Platform SH. There's still people needed to work to make decisions, to work with other people to figure out what to build, and so on and so forth. But the job of what they did so far, this will change. On the other side of the spectrum, there's those kind of jobs like enterprise architects. You can leverage AI tools to make better decisions, to educate yourself about topics you didn't come across with. Fabian here is a big fan of Notebook LM, for example. So you can leverage all these tools, and they're awesome, and they will increase the productivity. But your job is not at risk at this point. Bluntly speaking, as of today, likely, you're not spending a significant amount of time writing code anyways, right? Probably, if you're enterprise architect, if you spend 5% of your time going through code, that's already a pretty high number, compared to like close to 100% here on the other side of the scale. And now what's happening over time, obviously, is that this threshold here, it's moving forward, and it's a question like of speed and of how far can it move. I don't think it will be able to move all the way over here, but I'm quite sure it will move further, and a significant job of developers, of how developers work actually, I have a very high confidence, I think everyone here in the room would agree that they need to change the way how they do things. So, the reason why it doesn't replace everyone entirely, or developers entirely, is obvious also, because there's still the need for informed decision making. There's always the need for interpersonal interactions when you're building a business, when you're building a product, when you're building a feature. AI cannot take all that away. There's not going to be the stage anytime soon, if ever, where the whole world will run automatically. Many things will change, but this interpersonal communication, the interpersonal touch, emotional decisions, informed decisions, business model decisions, do you go left, do you go right, this will never happen. But I think everyone needs to adapt, and that's already happening. I mean, all of us like leverage tools already in the daily work, in the coding work, in all areas of life, and I'm actually excited about the days to come. I don't think it's going to be a change, but even also engineers in the long run, also if you're here on the very left side of the picture, will benefit eventually. So, having said that, I think the more important or the more exciting part actually is now to look into how to leverage AI as of today to build better products.
Thank you, Tim.
Over.
So I will do some live coding with AI. AI is not deterministic, so it may work, may not work, who knows. But I have a few slides in front of the live coding part. So how to become a developer? It's learning tools, learning frameworks, learning processes, learning everything. It takes ages to become a good developer. How to become a 10x developer? It's you need to be very pragmatic. So you are 10 times faster if you just choose the simplest possible way instead of building microservice, whatever stuff. So if you just build it, simple, stupid, this is the 10x developer. You're 100 times more productive by just reusing existing stuff. So you need a shop, use a shop system. You do not build it from scratch like some companies did in the past. You need some content page, you use a CMS. Just this makes you super fast. And this is new. So 1000x developer, that's AI. This number looks extremely large. So is it possible that a single person is 1,000 times more productive than developers like 5 years ago? I think this could be true. And in practice, this is from Statista, most developers today use AI for writing code. Like this statistic here says 82% of all developers use code on their day-to-day work. Use AI for writing code day-to-day. They use it for search for answers and lots of other different actions. So AI is already in their daily work. But that does not mean that 82% of developers are this, because this is not true. The why is it not true? AI is not super helpful when you are just starting. So when you have no clue about programming, about development, AI will not help you. It's like you will not become a good book author by letting ChatGPT generate a book for you. This does not give you anything. AI powers people when they're at the middle level. So when they have some experience, they have some knowledge about architecture, about coding practices, etc., then using AI can give you a super high boost. But a lot of very senior developers, very seniority level, the best developers, let's say like the best developers, are often not using AI. And there's a reason. There's an emotional reason, because they don't like it. They like programming. This is fun, obviously. Using AI is not fun, to be honest. But there's also other reason. This will only happen for new stuff. When you work with an existing IT organization with 500 people on an existing legacy ERP system, AI is not super helpful, because AI doesn't know the whole thing. AI will just generate you some piece of code. It will not reuse existing functions or classes. It doesn't know why something was decided like this 5 years ago. So this can only happen with new software. So only when you build something from scratch, and ideally as a senior developer. However, AI is here, and it will not go away anymore. Google just published that 25% of their entire new code was written by AI, which means that 75% was not written by AI, which is not 1,000 times better, right? This is just 25% better. So using AI for coding, there are 3 stages. The first stage is Copilot. So I think you all know GitHub Copilot. And this is very straightforward. I will just show you in a minute. You write the code like before, but you get suggestions. So you can hit tab, and then there will be code. And probably the code is exactly what you would write anyway. It just makes you faster. The current state of this is pretty good already. And there are a lot of offerings, like Copilot, Cursor, and some others. They all use just the same model that you use day to day. So all of them use GPT-4o or Claude 3.5, Sonnet, or Gemini. So they all use the same models under the hood. So there was a time, like a year ago, when there were specialized LLMs for coding, but that's gone. So now all these tools are actually giving you the same output. They generate the same code. Exactly the same code you can generate with ChatGPT. It's just about dev UX here. It's pretty cool because you don't need to write the code, but you still need to know everything about coding because you need to review the code. You need to know which file to put where. You're still responsible for the code. So when you push the code to the repository as a developer, it's still your name that shows up there. And it doesn't matter if I wrote the code or you're still accountable for the result. So this is just it is a boost, but not yet the 1,000th time. Okay, let's do that. So I'm using Cursor, and I have an application. This is not running yet. Let's start it. So this is a Laravel application, but it doesn't matter, to be honest, what it is. And I prepared an admin dashboard. This is Filament. You may know this one or not. This is an admin dashboard. This is something where you can have forms and tables and site navigation. But it would work with any other technology. It doesn't matter. So now let's build some application. Stefan, what should we build? What kind of application? What comes to your mind? Sign up form. It needs to be application, like conference management software or something like this. Conference management software. Okay. So if you're interested in what I'm doing here, I can show you. I can tell you afterwards which technologies I'm using. But this is not about Laravel. This is about AI. So this is a YAML file where I can define the schema, and we want a conference management system. So I say add the models for conference management. It doesn't really matter how I write that. It will figure it out.
Despite all typos.
Huh? Sorry?
Despite all typos.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? It can just it can also write in German if I like. It doesn't matter, which is also cool. So people who are not good in English can also program now because. So okay, this is the model. Looks good. So event has a name, description, start date. This looks good. So I will not question. Now I'm doing exactly the bad practice. I'm not questioning this. I'm just take it for granted, which is horrible practice. But I have not enough time. So now what I'm running here is some Laravel.
There's a typo in the controller. Triple S.
Ah, yeah, because I did not accept that thing. So I did see it. It was red and green because I need to accept it first, and now it's in the code. Now let's run it again. Yeah. So this here. Ooh. Okay, I will delete just something which is not probably too dangerous. It's AI. That means it can also screw up. I will just delete the relationships because I'm pretty sure this was because of the relationships. Okay, that worked. Let's look at our application. I need to log in again. So I have my navigation filled up here. And I have an empty form, which is not what I want. Let me quickly check into my commands text, because I need to also run 2 more commands. This is not AI what I'm doing now. This is just Laravel stuff. Okay. So now I have a form for attendees, and I have a form for events, which is pretty good already. So half of the application is done. But here I have a list of events, and this is empty. And that's bad, because I want in my application, I want some events here. I want some real conferences. So what I'm doing now is, so I'm a kind of developer. I know where to put the stuff. So I'm going to database seeder. And now I say, seed 5 events with real data at Digitale Leute Summit 24. So I do not need to write any code to do this, but you also see my flow, my focus flow is always disrupted. So now I'm waiting. Now I'm looking at somewhere else, Spiegel Online, and I will. So, but yeah, accept it, because I will not review it. I will just accept it as it is. I will just re-import. This command that I'm doing here is just re-importing it's just recreating all the files and stuff. There was an error. Oh no, that was good. I need to log in again because I flushed the application. I have some events here. And I can edit them. So now, when I'm unhappy with this description field here, I can so now I need to change some code, but I maybe do not know which code. The good thing is I have this chat window here. So where can I change the form for events? Here. It's good. Okay. Events. Make description. Rich text editor. No. It did something, and I'm super lazy. I just accept it and accept it. It's working. But best practice is to have unit tests, right? So write unit tests. The cool thing is, if we not only write unit tests, this also creates a new file with these tests. I'm a 1000x developer. And I can continue like this the entire time. This thing here, this cursor IDE can also run command line calls. So I can just continue like this, run the tests. It's also when I screw it up. So when I make a mistake, so here, something is wrong here. AI, fix it. I need to move the mouse all the time. This is a bit annoying, so it could still be a bit faster. But, well. So, and that's what I said. This works extremely good with new software. Imagine you are a developer of SAP, and you have a full SAP Java code in front of you. This will probably not work so good. But here in this application, because I'm using Laravel, I'm using Filament, I'm currently using, which model is it? And for O, now I can switch to Claude. So Claude and GPT, they know everything about Laravel and Filament. That's why they can just write the code the perfect way. And Sonnet is even better than the other tools. And yeah, I could continue like this. I could generate the entire application. I would probably need 2 hours to build this application. And it's fast because of AI, but also because I'm using these frameworks here. So I would not be that fast if I would need to build the entire admin panel from scratch. That would take me a few weeks, probably, but reusing existing software just makes me blazing fast. That's the first level of AI usage. This is, I think, 2 years old. I think the first Copilot was launched 2 years ago. There are a few startups like Cursor, the one that I used. This is a startup which has a great solution, but it will not survive the next year. Because GitHub is Microsoft. VS Code, the underlying IDE of Cursor, is also Microsoft. So Microsoft will just build this in a better product, and then all these startups will just die. So the standard IDEs that everybody's using will just have these capabilities. And I can see, I can just build the entire software without writing one line of code. Next level is, so imagine you're not a developer at all. So you do not want to touch the code. You don't want to open the IDE. You just want to have the application up and running. You're a product owner. You want some little application. And the next level is app generators. So you just go there, write a prompt, and it will build you the entire application. I will do that now. This is not perfect yet. So here we're just in the beginning. The results are super shitty. I would not use them. But it's still interesting just to try it out. Build me a conference management app. Ugh. So bold. You see, they're all the same. Now let's burn some tokens. This is all free version, so I may hit some limits. Oh, this one I don't know. It doesn't matter. So here we can see it's creating a plan. Hey, I need to build this application. I need to do this and this and this and this. And then it's starting writing the files. This is V0. V0 is from Vercel, and Vercel is a company that makes Next.js, a framework. So this is using Next.js. So it's building me a Next.js React application. And I can watch this working here. This one is slower. Okay. This one is also cool. This one's already done. We have the application. It looks a bit ugly, to be honest. And it's not as powerful as the one that I was building, but still, there is some kind of application here. It's not even MVP, to be honest. It's just it's almost nothing. But I think Bolt works better. Bolt works better with some pure. Oh, I cannot return here. Okay. Okay, this one is losing the race. And this one. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's just this here.
It says on the bottom left that you ran out of budget.
Okay, it's a free version. Okay, but you got the idea. So Yeah, there are plenty of them in the market. You should try yourself. It's pretty cool, but this is just a toy for now. But you should watch the presentation of GitHub Spark. This is like 2 weeks old, I think. There's a YouTube presentation. And they are absolutely serious about it. So they say, in the future, you will just generate small applications. So instead of using Excel for everything, you will just generate. So let's say you need a little application with a sign-up form for your conference or to collect some feedback. So Stefan can just go there, generate a little application. It will be generated. It will also be hosted then by GitHub. And you just get a URL, and you're done. And maybe you pay $5 for the tokens. That's it.
Can I just add a little thing? I mean, what Fabian just did now was a very simple prompt. I mean, if I would ask 5 different people about how build me a SaaS app for conference management, everyone would respond differently. What you could do to improve it would basically be to go to ChatGPT, write down user stories, like refine that a lot deeper. And then if you put it into that, you also get a whole like a bigger application, which is going to be more streamlined. I mean, the prompt was very simplistic.
Yeah.
You could basically also over-engineer that and then get a lot better results.
And the next level is agents, obviously. So copilots and generators are limited because this is actually just ChatGPT or Claude with some code around it. So some humans said, hey, I built some software which is using AI to write code, which I will put them into different files, and then this is code. This is the application. And the next level is AI agents. These are the 3 companies, I think, which are currently leading this space. I think none of these you cannot use them. I think this Claude computer use is only for developers. I did not try it out, to be honest, but it's also super expensive. What this software is doing is they act like a human, and they use the tools that you are using. So there's no boundary, there's no limit. So it's not inside a browser window. They just use your computer or other computers to do whatever you like. And there's a lot of power behind these, just by looking at the funding. So none of these is live. And you can see the company in the middle, which is powered by Eric Schmidt. This is powered by Peter Thiel. This is Claude. I mean, Claude is a MML. This is, of course, more money. So these companies are absolutely serious. This one has $500 million seed funding. And this is really dangerous, not only for developers, actually for all of us. I did not try it out. I was lazy. I took this from a YouTube video, from the official YouTube video, which you can also watch yourself. But I would just use the next 30 seconds to show you the idea, so you get it. This is something you need. This release of Claude computer use was bigger than the ChatGPT release, to be honest, because this is the most dangerous thing for all of us for our jobs. So this is little software that you install on your computer, and you just give it a prompt. So you're not programming with code, you give it a prompt. So this prompt here is open a Chrome window and create a personal website. And what this thing is doing, it's making a plan. Hey, to do this thing, I need to do this and this and this and this. And then it's using your computer, and it's moving the mouse and using the keyboard to do what you would do otherwise. So here it can spot there's a logo of Chrome. It sees the coordinates. It just clicks it. It opens, obviously. And then this AI is using the other AI to write the code. Here's the code. And then it's copying, it's clicking this is the result here. And then now you give it the next prompt. Hey, please copy this code to my local editor. And it's seeing, hey, it's clicking the copy button here of that window. It's open VS Code. It opened now the file with the just download it, put the code there, and then you can just tell it start the application. And imagine this year, in a year, which works really good. That means everybody of you will sit in front of a computer and just talk to the computer like in Star Trek. And because using your mouse and keyboard is too time-consuming, AI will do it quicker, and it can do it in parallel. So you can say, hey, open up 1 million agents that go to LinkedIn with my profile, find my targets and stalk them, and then write messages to them. So I'm showing this now for programming, but you can do anything with this. And this is also, this whole thing is a replacement for programming, because nobody needs software anymore. You just use AI agents to do whatever you like by giving the commands with your voice. And this is the last slide. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, said this year, I think you all probably heard that, right? It's our job to create computing technology such as nobody has to program, and that the programming language is human, text, voice. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is a miracle of AI. So that means the people here who said they're product owner, they can keep the job. The people on the left side who said they're developers, okay. We have 3.5 minutes for questions. Thank you.
So thank you very much to put that into perspective. A great presentation. Yeah, and there are questions. You could come over here and come to the mic. Or I could come to you. Super fascinating. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, I would like to thank also first for the insights you gave us. And the question I have is looking from the perspective of a software engineer. If you have a new programming or create a new programming language, one of the milestones you have is to create a compiler to compile the own language. So transferring this to AI agents. So do you think that there is a time when it will be the time that AI agents will be able to create AI agents?
I mean, this one which I showed was using another AI to
agent?
do the job. Agent? Yeah, of course. I mean, this agent here was. Somebody was writing the text to give command to that agent. Of course, also AI could give the command to the agent.
It's a recursion.
Yes,
It's a recursion.
But actually, it's a difference between using an AI agent and programming an AI agent.
I mean, this AI agent is just some little application which is using AI prompts. And this you could also the same way which I showed in the first live coding session, of course. It's also just some probably, I don't know, C++ code.
Yeah, but the question actually is, do you think, or when will it be possible that an AI agent is able to write another AI agent?
Will it be possible? For sure. When?
I mean, technically it's possible. It is possible today. It's just not released. But I mean, this agent, which is already published, maybe Claude used AI to write this agent. So technically it's possible.
Okay.
It's just not for us possible, but they can do that already.
Okay.
So maybe a year, half a year.
Half a year? Oh. So next year you are here on the Digitale Leute. Probably you can talk about that again.
Maybe.
Let's
Thank you
see.
very much.
Thank you. So we have time for one more question. We have 1 minute left. So then I would ask you one question. So you said so all the developers have to be careful with their jobs. For me, it would be normal that now, at the time we are in, that software development gets cheaper. So that this 25% productivity gain in a corporation such as Google, for example, that this gets through to the customer. Do you see this in the market, that customers want to have cheaper development, or is it's not the case?
I mean, it's an analogy, right? I mean, basically, development today is more efficient than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Did software get cheaper? No, it didn't. But the solutions you build get more complex. Same thing with the car. There's always a comparison. Golf was, I don't know how many thousand D-Mark back in the days. Today it's obviously more expensive, but the Golf today does not compare to the Golf 1 which you had 30 years ago, right? So the solutions you build also get more complex. Mm-hmm. So probably no.
Okay.
But it will not get cheaper in terms of agencies selling code, but in terms of you are a startup founder. So instead of hiring a team of 5, you hire a team of 1. And this one person will build the entire thing.
But that doesn't only exclusively apply to developers, but also for SDRs, writing emails, marketing, whatever it is, right?
The cost of writing code is much lower now. But still, the organizations still have these people. I mean, when you have an organization that has 500 engineers, you have 500 engineers. What should you do with them? But if you're green, that's why I said in greenfield situation, it's different. When everything is in this way of concept, you're much, much faster and much cheaper.
Okay, thank you very much to put this into perspective. A big applause again for Tim and Fabian.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
For having us.
I hope that we do it next year again and you show the updates like the attendee asked for. That would be great. So we will be here back in 5 minutes and then we go back to product management. See you in 5 minutes.